Well, you're taking, and I know why you're doing
that's
this.
That's a majority of degrees, and people that go to college are in the social sciences, are in communications, and they're in irrelevant degrees, a majority. So a majority of the 21 million people that are in college right now are there studying stuff that you and I would laugh at.
Oh, I wouldn't laugh at that at all. I think that people go to college for a variety of reasons.
No, I know that, but do you think that when we're looking at American competitiveness, studying North African lesbian poetry is going to make us more competitive?
Well,
what's up, amazing people of YouTube? Hope you guys are feeling good. I'm your host, Elario, and today I'm back with another video and check out with you guys. This is called Charlie Kirk takes on final boss of brainwashed college students. You know the drill, guys. We talk less and react more. Let's check this one out.
Hey, do I just go?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you've talked a little bit about American competitiveness tonight, and I'm getting a sense that you're also not a huge fan of college. Is that correct?
Somewhat, yeah.
Okay, somewhat. And you are also not a fan of immigration. So given those two stances, you are proposing cutting off a substantial part of America's labor supply, both in skilled and unskilled sectors. And you're not encouraging young people, or rather you are actively discouraging young people from gaining the necessary skills to replace the skilled immigrants that are coming in. So given that you hold these two stances, how is America going to become more competitive when you, especially in fields that require highly skilled labor, such as medical research and material science and engineering?
Well, of course I want people to get skills, so that's not a correct representation. Does college provide skills to the majority of people that go? Does a woman's study degree give you any skills that was going to help us fight China?
Well, you're taking, and I know why you're doing
this.
That's
a majority of degrees, and people that go to college are in the social sciences, are in communications, and they're in irrelevant degrees, a majority. So a majority of the 21 million people that are in college right now are there studying stuff that you and I would laugh at.
Oh, I wouldn't laugh at that at all. I think that people go to college for a variety of reasons.
No, I know that, but do you think that when we're looking at American competitiveness, studying North African lesbian poetry is going to make us more competitive?
Well, I don't think that a person's decision to pursue an education should be determined by what is necessarily for the greater good of the country.
That's a separate issue. I'm not even contending that. Everyone has a right to do that. You can make whatever path you want. I'm making a broader macro point of competitiveness, that when you have millions of your best people studying stuff that's complete trash and complete nonsense, to just go become mid-level manager, paper pusher bureaucrats, not good. So I do have to ask the question.
Well, you haven't answered my question yet, because you're going on and you're talking about, okay, some degrees are not going to make America.
Not some.
Okay,
a majority.
I'll grant you that. So you're saying a majority of degrees that are granted in the United States are not going to make America competitive in STEM fields. Okay, fine. I asked, given that you are anti-immigration and that you are disparaging going to college in general.
I'm anti-illegal immigration, just to make sure. I'm anti-foreigners breaking into our country.
There's a need to clarify that.
I have to clarify you on my position, but go ahead.
So the Trump administration's deportation of academics, that's bad, you would say?
Well, again, it depends on what they're being deported for and what they're teaching, and the criteria around that.
So the cancer researcher at, what was it, Boston U, Harvard? Some Boston university that was deported for forgetting to declare frog embryos in her carry-on. That was a dangerous person that needed to be deported. Would you agree with that?
I don't know enough about the frog embryo thief.
Oh, okay. Thief? Oh, no. These were samples
smuggler.
related to her research.
Frog embryo smuggler. Let's talk more broadly, though. If we are thinking about going up against China, do we want more universities that are of the liberal arts direction, or more that are doing really like artificial intelligence preparedness, astrophysics, engineering, of which of course I totally support, but that's less than 12% of all students that go to college study those things.
So you're asking,
what's going to make us more competitive? The current college model, or one that is significantly changed and somewhat reconfigured?
Well, your premise is that we're competing against China.
I would say we're an enemy with the Chinese Communist Party, not just a trading partner, that they're an enemy of the United States. But I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole. Back to immigration. I'm against illegal immigration. I want the best people to be here, merit-based, but I don't believe immigration is a charity. You should not come here just because you want to, and we're not going to open our doors as just an act of benevolency. We want the best people that are going to assimilate and make our country more competitive.
So you don't think we should open our doors to anyone with, say, a PhD or a highly skilled?
No, it depends. Now, if you have a PhD and you've written extensively on how the atom was split, and you're from Japan, then yeah, we'll entertain you coming to this country, and we want that, of course. But again, you have to have some nuance into who you're going to let into our country, not just your blanket statement, let anybody with a PhD come into America. That's silly.
You don't think that humanities have any value at all? So history.
Well, I do actually. The way that it's taught and configured. So are you here at University of Wyoming?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Are you in the humanities, or what are you?
Oh, it depends on who you ask. I'm studying to be a doctor of economics.
Oh, great. Good.
Yeah.
So you guys have spent a lot of time studying Thomas Sowell.
Yes.
And Milton Friedman.
Yes.
And F.A. Hayek and Ludwig von Mises.
Yes.
All of that.
My work is actually quite closely related to Friedrich Hayek.
Great. So do you think most college kids across the country are learning Hayek?
Actually, yes. I was introduced to Hayek and Bastiat.
That's a joke, and you know it. Like,
oh, really?
You're the first economics student in the country I ever know that even knows who Hayek is.
Well, I think that's because a lot of people enter economics thinking that it's just another business degree, that it's just about how to run a firm.
It's a rigorous study to obviously go after. The humanities, as they're configured, are wretched to the core with anti-Western teaching, anti-American literature.
Anti-Western teaching?
An emphasis on Herbert Marcuse and Angela Davis and Kimberly Crenshaw and Judith Butler and Derek Bell.
What's wrong with Angela Davis? She's a great woman.
What, Angela Davis, the outspoken vocal communist?
Yeah.
She's a great woman.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's why kids shouldn't go to college, to learn from communists. That proves my point. Angela Davis has nothing to offer to the academy. She is the disciple of Herbert Marcuse.
You don't think a diverse education in political theory is useful?
You can learn about those perspectives, but studying them as your primary perspective, do you think
who's studying Angela Davis as their primary perspective? That's a leap. That is a leap.
No, hold on. Angela Davis is, or the postmodern school of thought, brought to you by Marcuse and the Frankfurt School and Jacques Derrida, is the predominant philosophical worldview that is put forward in the humanities across the country. That is a fact.
We've strayed pretty far from my original point. We've got people behind me. Well, hold on. I'm just going to give you an opportunity to clearly answer the questions that I had, given that you are anti-immigration.
Anti-illegal immigration.
Okay, fine. Anti-illegal immigration.
Yes.
That's fine. I
want more Elon Musk and less Elon Omars. Does that make sense?
Well, that's bait, but okay.
So that's the type of legal immigration I want. More Elons, less Elons.
Okay. We're going to ignore that bait.
No, but that's my answer. I mean,
you have
merit over Muslim totalitarianism.
You just said you are against some highly educated, highly skilled immigrants that come in based on your personal criteria. Fine. And you are against training our young people to fill their shoes. How does this make America more competitive? Okay, and you've spent a lot of time talking about immigration and the fact that some college degrees are worthless, but you have not at all addressed how your viewpoints make America more competitive.
Apprenticeships, trade schools, community colleges. There's other options than four-year colleges to be able to get skills, of which I highly support. Did you know there are 11 million job openings in this country right now that do not require a college degree, that just require some form of technical training? So yes, we need less people going to college and more people that are going to enter the muscular class of this country.
Community colleges are going to teach you how to cure cancer, but that's my time, all right?
Okay, but a community college actually might teach you how to change a tire, which millions of Americans don't know how to do. Okay, thank you for your time.
You see, I always find it hilarious that a few people will just step out and twist all of Charlie's notions and try to get him in a pigeonhole. I mean, it's just hilarious. Because what he said here is Charlie is anti-immigration and anti-college. What Charlie has always stood for in literally every video I've watched, he is against illegal immigration. People who cross the borders without following the due process. People who break into the country. That is what he is against. That is what he and literally every right-thinking American don't want. Now, most of these pro-immigration or pro-illegal immigration people, because that's what they all are, they say these people contribute to the labor force, they are doing the manual jobs that they can't do. And this brings me to ask, why can't you do it? I mean, if they got the training, then it's very possible that you too can get the training, right? And instead of them overpopulating your country and collecting the jobs that should be for you guys, why don't you up your trading system or your trade learning system and do these things that you feel like you can't do? Because honestly, as Charlie did point out, this is not even just an American issue. All over the world, right? In colleges, there are certain degrees that you finish with and you can't secure a job. You can't even use that degree. It's not even a joke. You can't use that degree. You can't work anywhere. What you end up doing is something that has zero to nothing to do with that college degree. You spent 4 years, 4 to 5 years reading or studying. And what Charlie has advocated for in all his videos is for the implementation of trade schools, technical schools, schools that will teach you basic handworks. You know, things like plumbing, bricklaying, things like that. Things that these illegal immigrants come to do. Farming, things that these people come to do that you feel like they're contributing to the economy. This is something that you guys over there can do. You shouldn't wait for the immigrants to come and do your jobs for you. You shouldn't wait for them to come and clean up the country. And this student's entire question at first, I feel like it was a trap because he was just trying to pigeonhole him, you know, standing on the premise that Charlie wants a more competitive America, for America to be more advanced. He's bringing the notion that he's anti-immigration and anti-college. You know, he just paints a very, very bleak picture. Because honestly, if what they are doing now is going to be the current trend of education in colleges, just like the example he cited, lesbian poetry of North Africa, if that is what they are going to be teaching in schools, then what really are you using that education to do? I also saw a news of when a sexual expert, not just any type of sexual activity, but one that has to do with torture and pain, if you get what I mean. That kind of expert was invited to a high school to give a talk. I mean, is this what we want for the children of this generation? Is this what you want them to learn? Are you telling me that we're no longer in times when children now have educational talk shows in the school compound? If this is the premise of education now, as Charlie did point out, then it's better to just go to where you can learn a technical course. Something that you can use your hands to do. As he said, they need to go muscular. They need to start using their hands more. Not everything is going to be an intellectual work. Not everyone is going to be in the office space. There are other things you should know how to do. They all form an integral part of the community. And it's funny because I know that everything that Charlie was saying would amount to nothing in these students' ears. And I honestly wonder why, because till now, I mean, even with all what Trump is doing to make sure that the country is better, you still see a lot of them cursing him out. I really can't understand it. I really can't understand it, but I do agree with Charlie 100% on this one. If this is going to be the premise for education, and there are job openings, 11 million job openings for people who are skilled in one trade or the other, then what really is the use? Apart from professional courses like, medicine, surgery, engineering, and all that, some certain courses, truth is, it's a waste of time. Wait, believe it or not, it's a waste of time. And if you don't have backup of experience in a certain trade, you find yourself at the depth of suffering. And that's just it. But guys, leave your two cents on this in the comment section, and please do leave a thumbs up for us at the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and stay safe.